Everybody good? Good to see everybody. Thanks for being here. We've got certainly a big challenge this week in Logan against, I think, a very, very explosive, tough, well-coached football team. We got to bounce back from our first defeat on the year, and we understand how important every single game is in the conference race, and this is our next opportunity in conference play. So the focus shifted. You know, we spent a number of time or hours on our last performance, and I don't want to minimize it because there were some really, really good things, but there are also things that we didn't do well, coaching and execution. So I've got to be better, we've got to be better, and we'll get in that arena again in a close game, and finding a way to win it will obviously be something that we learn from our past experiences. I wanted to get the game to overtime and then let our team go play. And hindsight's easy to look back and, well, what if we would have done this? What if we would have done that? I trusted our team to get into that situation in overtime and go win it. Unfortunately, we came up short. So I think Syracuse is a good team, and I think they'll have a successful season. And I think we will bounce back and get back on a mission of playing winning football. And another Friday night game, and I'm sure that the crowd will respond with the things that I've seen on film with their home games, where the student section is, away games, all those things that go into it. We've got to have a great week of preparation to go play effectively to win the game. So we had a good start yesterday and today, and we'll build on that and understand that before we know it, it'll be Friday night, and we'll have that opportunity again. So I do think our team is I know they're close. They understand, number one, they're hurt, but there's a lot of teams in college football that got beat this weekend, and I heard somebody say a lot of times you're defined on what happens after that first loss, then your season really starts. So it's a little bit of the message that we've been talking about, and what are we going to do with it, and how are we going to respond, and what will we do to correct problems and also get ourselves in position to go play well. So we'll get there, and it'll take a great effort in all three phases to have a chance, because I think the way Utah State is playing, they're ultra explosive on offense. They got a terrific quarterback, got a really good running back. They got elite receivers. I think their offensive line plays really well together. I've known their offensive line coach for a long time. He was on my staff in a role at the University of Missouri. I know what he does and how he does it. He's really good. And then defensively, they've got great speed, and I am impressed with schematically how they're playing. So we'll have to play really well. We need a really good week of preparation, and our guys will do that. I'll answer questions.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Ricky White winning the Mountain West Special Teams Player of the Week award. Talk about just how special he is, and he almost had that second block in the game the other night.
That's huge. And again, I've said it, and you guys probably are tired of me saying I've said it over and over and over. Ricky practices that way every single day. On the front line and kickoff return, on our punt block team, he's affected. Really, he's had 2 blocks this year, plus another. Could count as a block because of he and Jet got in on the tackle to make the play. Huge field position. That kept us in the game the other night, and he understands his role in that. He's got such tremendous value on his practice habits, his elite playmaking skill, and then after our season is over and we get into next semester, somebody whoever ends up drafting him is going to make a really, really great decision for the organization, because he's so versatile, and he's as good of a leader and teammate as I've been around.
Stepped up on special teams. I was thinking a guy like Bradley's made a couple of big plays in back-to-back games.
He has made huge plays on kickoff coverage. You see the speed he has down the field. He's got unbelievable speed. And there's a lot of guys that got great speed, but they can't sink their hips and maneuver and be able to bend and make a play. He's made 2 plays inside the 10-yard line on a normal kick. that's really hard to do, especially for a receiver. But he's been really exceptional in kickoff coverage on our punt return team, and his value for our team is growing every single week.
Coach, what did you learn from your team from that loss that you maybe didn't know before?
I thought really, the word tough is easy to throw out there, but really the mental toughness. We got socked in the mouth and down 14-0, and I didn't feel or sense any. We didn't back down, and we knew going into it the talent level that Syracuse had, and I figured it was going to be a back and forth, really tough game, and I thought we responded in the right way. And I do think throughout the game, as we either self-inflicted or inflicted in other ways through officiating, or we gave up a play, I thought our guys just kept responding, and that was good to see. And then we had guys in the place to continue to make plays, and they made one more than we did, and that's tough because you always, as a head coach, want to put them in position to make one more play or to be able to finish to win, and I came up short there. But our team is, I would say that over the last really 2 weeks, we're starting to identify ourselves a little bit more in all three phases. And that continues to go as the season continues to go on. You always evolve and change a little bit as a team, but I think this the core foundational blueprint of what this team is made of. We're right where we need to be.
I wonder if you can expand a little bit on the coulda, woulda, shoulda hindsight, because the fans will always have they should have done this, they should have done that, but from a coach's mind, when you look back and you say coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe a little bit of hindsight, what do you say?
I look at the management. Should I have used a timeout there late in the game when they had the ball to buy some more time for our team? But also, we got into some situations there that got them into third downs, and then at that point had a stop, but was stopped because of or advanced because of a penalty. You don't use a timeout there, and then you really go back and forth. 23 seconds left, where we needed to get for field goal range with timeouts. At that point, I wanted it to calm, regroup, and go win it in overtime. And, what if you would have went? Yeah, we could have, or we could have been sacked and, lost the ball. So I will always, and I think, it's easy to look back and say, man, I should have done that, but you learn and grow from those things, but also, the staff conversation and the things that we always spend time on, their critique and self-evaluation. You take those things, and sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, man, I messed that up. And then you do everything you can to get your team back in position to go play winning ball.
Coach, I sat down with Jaden Jet Thomas on the Rev Zone, and he talked about how he looks up to Ashton Genty, and what an amazing guy he is, front runner for the Heisman. Just for him to be a player in the Mountain West, what do you respect about his season he's having?
Well, I think number one, I want to go back to our Jet, the way he played the other night. He finally had a little bit of an ankle injury early in the year and kind of getting back to full speed, and he looked really good running the ball the other night. Had a physical presence to him. That's very complimentary of Jet to have for Jenny, who I think is the best player in college football. And I know, I haven't seen them all. I sure wish that he would have found another home in the offseason. And I do wish him great success other than the weeks that we play him. So I think you look at what that running back does for his team, and they're a great team, but also you look at his yards after contact, his ability to make plays, his vision, his speed. And I've got even more respect because I knew about him in high school and was a lowly recruited two-star or whatever he was. That program at Frisco Lone Star, I've recruited a number of guys out of that school over the years. They do a great job developing kids, and then, once he has been there on campus, and I can't speak to his work ethic because I haven't seen it, but I think he's one of the elite players in college football, and he shows it every single week.
There were 3 penalties that I was kind of unclear on. One was something with lining up. where they said unsportsmanlike was at Keene. There was a celebration. I don't know if there was a cell phone on the field, and then obviously the roughing that wasn't targeting in overtime.
Yep. I'll just tell you what I know. And the one early on offensive formation, they said it was of deception. We subbed a receiver on. The other receiver that was coming off for him ran off the field. We had wide splits on that formation, and the official said that it was because of our widening our alignment and the position of the receiver running off the field, that it was a look of deception, which ended up being a 15-yard penalty on a second down. I haven't seen that call, or I guess I haven't had that call against me every year that I've been a head coach. I haven't seen it as the years I've been a coordinator either. So that was I was surprised by that. There was no deception. We were going a wide split formation. We had 1-for-1 substitution. The pass interference, Jono in the end zone, clear and obvious. There was no contact there. You didn't ask about that one. What did you ask about?
I was asking about the celebration.
Oh, the celebration.
Something in someone's hand.
No, that should have been a penalty because, mass celebration in the end zone, we had a player leave the bench area. That should have been called, and that's on us. That was a clear and definite foul. And then, what was the other one?
The roughing in overtime.
Oh, the roughing in overtime. Quarterback's backpedaling. It's a screen play. It's a bang-bang play. The only thing that we've taught and will continue to teach off of, make sure your eyes are up on the contact with the quarterback. There's no other way Whitmore could have played that.
Coach, I was wondering how this is kind of
also officials have a really hard job. I understand that, and years and years from now, when I'm done coaching, I'm going to become the coordinator of officials. Steve Shaw and I are going to sit back and forth and decide what the rules are.
I was wondering how the officiating crew is picked. I know they had a contract. I was wondering why this wouldn't have been a Big 12 crew or a Mountain West, an ACC crew. I guess in the contract, but how does that all work? That we're going to sign this crew?
That would be a discussion with our administrator, Eric Nepomuceno, handles our contracts with non-conference games, and that would have to be something he would answer. I wouldn't have the information for that.
Is that kind of odd?
You'd have to ask him. I don't know.
Yeah. It is normal for the losing team to have their conference.
Oh, it is?
Nice answer. It's all contractual talk, so how that goes into it.
Another thing, I know you don't control this, but as a coach, you'd like to probably see it. That south end zone where the student body is way up top. Is there a way to bring those students down in some stands where they can be by the field and part of that?
I don't know. Again, that would have to be that'd be an answer that I can't give because I don't know, and I know I'm supposed to have all the answers. But the closer we could get them, the better. But I have no clue what goes into it on when they decide to move those and when they don't.
You'd raise your hand if they said, "Hey, you want to move the students down?"
I would put everybody within 5 yards of the sideline and behind their bench and try to cause problems.
Coach, the back-to-back Friday games, how is your team capitalizing on that?
Yeah, you just look at, for us in our calendar day, today's Tuesday, and I said early in the year, preseason, we got an opportunity to play 11 of 12 games on television. I won't trade that. Whatever night it is, it's great exposure for our program, and our kids understand that once it gets Friday night at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, that it's game time. So they've adjusted. Again, those aren't as big of a schedule adjustment as the ones that are Saturday night at Corvallis, and then a short turnaround Friday against Boise. Those are the ones that you've got to manage and change a lot of things with class schedules, with the travel. Those are the ones that are a little bit more, maybe challenging on making sure you get enough recovery, making sure you get enough of the rep count, and the things you need to go play against a really good opponent.
In your opening statement, you were talking about your team. You said they're close, but also they're hurt. Were you saying like they're close, tight-knit as a team, or close to where you want them to be? Because I know a lot of times, week after week, you said this team's not close to where you want it.
No, we're close to. We're I would say galvanized. I would say we're together. I'd say we're a close team. And you know, you got to be close through the ups and the downs. You know, the season again is 15 weeks. You get 12 weeks of games, 2 bye weeks, a championship game. There's a lot of things that happen over 15 weeks. And, you know, I would love to go undefeated and run the table and sunny and 75 out, but it doesn't happen that way. It's like life. I mean, I hate it that there's ups and downs and you got to go through those things. But you've got to, the closer you are as a team, the quicker you will respond through the good and get back to neutral. And then if you have a tough loss and you got to regroup and everybody's going through it. So we're in a good spot. Congratulations on the marriage, by the way. You have got to glow to yourself. Yeah.
Think of these national TV games and really have the Kansas game and this last game. I mean, provided fans with some exciting football, does that really have a big deal in recruiting or just, I mean, what kind of impact would it have on recruiting?
I think absolutely it does, because of our 17 or 18 commitments right now in next year's class. They're all talking about it, and you know they're talking about watching every play. Whether you know they've got games Friday night as well, but they've got an opportunity to see us, and the response has been great from those guys, and the guys we're still targeting in the 25 class.
How has the leadership in the locker room changed? I know in the offseason you were saying there were so many vocal leaders in the locker room. How does that look now that there's been a few games?
I think the group is still growing, and you know it's just because maybe you're are not a starter, that doesn't diminish your leadership. As long as your habits align with what we need to be in the program, and there's a lot of examples of guys that are playing really well that aren't maybe a starter. And they carry a lot of weight in the locker room, in the weight room, in the meeting space. I think those are all important characteristics, and we've got a really, really strong group of what that looks like.
Are there some names that stand out to you that fit that description? Like they're not starting.
Like Christian Moore, for example. There's times he starts because of personnel that we're in. He's on kickoff return. But that guy's, you watch his practice habits every day, and, man, it doesn't get any better than what he does every single day. And sometimes it's dirty work. I mean, he's got to kick out a defensive end, or he's got to combo and work up to the next level. Just because his name isn't showing up, in the stat line, that doesn't mean that his value is any less than the starting quarterback. And he has earned a lot of respect just because of the way he works every single day.
How would you grade your defensive line play in that game? There seems to be a lot of talk about, do your job, stay within what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we weren't, there were times we were really, really good, and there were times we were inconsistent on either edge rush, contain, the quarterback got outside. And sometimes it's easy to say, it's a defensive end. Well, maybe not. Maybe he was on a long stick and the linebacker was supposed to come out. But we need to be more consistent at that level. Our guys understand that, how important it is for every single person to do their job every single time. And when you do that, then you've got a chance. If you get one guy out of a gap and you're playing a good team, then it's going to get exposed pretty quickly. So there were some really good things that they did. There's obviously, from a consistency standpoint, we can be better up front.
You good?
All right, guys. Have a great week.
All right, questions?
Ricky, you told me that you had 2 or 3 more block punts than you back earlier in the season. How many more block punts do you think you have? And congratulations on being Special Teams Player of the Week.
Thank you so much. I would definitely say about 2 or 3 more, of course. Just continue to, take down my coaching points from Coach Sheevis. Getting the help from the rest of the guys on the special teams unit. I feel like I want to be able to do what I did last weekend without them. So I want to thank them and Coach Shivas.
What is the secret to blocking punts and breaking through?
I would say get off and technique. So really get off and chasing the hip.
I was going to ask, from a technique standpoint, what did you do well on that one? Because it looked like you almost blocked it like here. It wasn't even on the top of your hands.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
From a tech standpoint, like what works where you can, because the first block, I remember whatever it was a couple weeks ago, you almost like went to the side and knocked it down this way. This time it kind of hit here. Like what's working so well that your get off, your speed?
Just speed, get off, really. That's pretty much what it is.
Are they bringing extra help over?
I mean, they kind of shaped the protection the opposite way of me this past game, so I just did what I was coached to do.
Jackson, what do you see on these blocks? Because there was even another one where the punter was like, screw it, I can't even get the ball off.
Yeah, having Ricky White on PBR is a cheat code. You know, he's so fast, so explosive. And then you got Bear Paul, you know, Rashad Tanner's on the other side, who's explosive, fast. And so they got to choose one. And there's a bunch of others. There's Casey Cain's on that, who's super fast. Charles Correa's on that. He scored on it. We got, you know, a lot of really good players on that unit, and I think that's what makes our special teams and just our team in general so special, is that we're going to do anything it takes to win. And guys like Ricky are, you know, phenomenal athletes and players and make big plays, and we see it every day in practice.
Hajj, when you were there waiting to get some playing time, how did you stay on course, and did you believe that you would become the starter eventually or get more playing time?
I stayed on course by sticking to my routine. You know, it was a very emotional time for me, but having guys like Ricky and Jackson that continually pick me up, you know, day to day. You know, you can't fake the funk. You know, they seen it in my body language. I'm a competitor. I wanted to be out there on the field. But to answer your question, I knew I was going to get my opportunity, you know, and those guys reminded me each day, don't get out of it. Your time coming. Stay ready, stay ready, stay ready. And honestly, being on that side, I think second-string quarterback is probably one of the hardest positions ever, because you got to prepare as if you're the starter, and then, you know, you may not get in the game, you know. So, but having a great support system, you know what I mean, and the brotherhood that kept me upbeat, you know, that's really how I got through those dark times.
Now that you are the starter, what have some of like the unexpected challenges been? It's been like a few weeks with you in the position. Just what's it been like for you?
It's the same. You know, I've played a lot of ball. You know, I think the biggest challenge was being quarterback too. I never did that before, so that was a character battle. You know, I had to go through that. You know, but I wasn't alone, and I think that's why I gotta continue to remind people, like, your community is everything, and having an environment like I had to be able to call, you know, wipe the tears off my face, they picking me up, literally. That's what makes me go out and play with a confidence. You know what I mean? Like when I come off the field and Wood say, hey, I'm gonna get this stop for you, you go score. Like that's everything, because I remember those conversations that we had when I wasn't the guy. You know what I mean? I think that's a testament to his character. Same with Ricky, and the brotherhood that we have on his team. So if you say what obstacles I have, it's really none. You know, I'm favored. I get to do what I love every day. So I don't care if it's a Tuesday practice. I'm going out there thankful to be tired. You know, I'm thankful that my legs hurting, because a couple weeks ago I was in the dumps. So
Odom was just in here. He talked about how close all of you guys are as a group, and obviously you were here early, which helps. But I guess what have some of the highlights been of just bonding with each other, even off the field?
The highlights is we all want the same thing. And I think that's where the relationship starts. Like, we all came from different parts of the country with the same mission, and that's what the sport of football can do for you. And with that, you can't fake the funk in this organization, meaning we work tremendously hard on a day-to-day basis that if you're not really what you say you are, you'll get exposed quickly. So our relationship came off our work ethic. Hey, this man working hard. Let me figure out his why. You know, why do you play like this? Why do you run like this? Why do you lift like this? And that's where the bond was created. If you got guys faking it, it's really nothing to talk about, because we got missions that we're trying to accomplish.
Jackson, we weren't able to speak to you after the game on Friday night. You know, what were you feeling that overtime and just really the brotherhood you have with your guys?
Yeah, obviously I was gutted. You know, the agony of defeat. It's not the standard of the team. It's not my standard personally, but But, the Lord woke us up, and we get another opportunity, another day. We can learn from that. That's only going to make us stronger. You got guys like these two next to me that, I lean on. Obviously, I was hurt after the game, but it's something that I can learn from, and I got to get better from, and that's what I'm going to go do. And the team's going to rally around, and like I said, it's going to make us better. I think Coach said it earlier, this is the start of the season. This is, where we really see who we are as a team, as a brotherhood. And so I'm excited to go, play again with our guys and get another opportunity.
Hajj, I don't recall Jack Haas, having any issues on snaps. In the past, there were a couple of errant snaps. Was that a communication issue, or what happened on those snaps?
Yeah, that's on me. He's a great player. It was on me. Doing too much at the line, but I think our chemistry is great. He bails me out a lot. He's a vet up there, but that was on me, and I think we corrected it for the rest of the game.
Was it something with the cadence, or?
Yeah.
Ricky, can you tell me how much fun you're having playing with Hajj out there?
Not even with just Hajj, the whole team. I feel so confident and good going out each weekend. It comes with preparation, the things we do out in the field, how we compete. Offense, defense, special teams. It just gives us all a boost to just go out there and just play freely every weekend, and every day at practice. So I feel good. I know these guys next to me also feel good too. So we're excited to get back to work, and we're gonna execute this come Friday.
I feel like special teams has just become so much more explosive this year. What are you seeing from those guys?
Man, just a group of guys just doing their 111, doing their job, coming together, communicating well. Taking the culture points and the details and just executing at a high level.
Hajj, we saw, I think it was at the start of overtime, you were in the middle of the huddle and talking to everyone. What was your message at that point?
Just to do more. You know what I mean? It was a disappointing outcome, but just leadership, doing the same thing I've been doing since I got here. Rallying the guys together. Helping them understand the moment, however you were feeling, bruises, aches, after playing 4 quarters of football, you're pretty sore, but we needed more. That's what the game demanded, so we had to respond, and we felt just a little short, so we're taking that same energy into our preparation this week. So.
Even during camp, the team said that you're a really vocal leader. Where does that come from? How have you kind of developed that over your collegiate career?
Just being the quarterback. That's what the position demands, They look for you to be able to get them out of anything. Just got to be right. The whole organization is dependent on this position to play well, just like everybody else. And so with that, it came a responsibility of maturity. From Atlanta, I wasn't as mature, so I was molded at Campbell to be able to come here and have this environment where I meet guys that's like-mannered as me. They want the same things, same mindset. So leadership is kind of easy when you have help. You know what I mean? Oh, this guy, hey, you get the huddle this time. Hey, well, you say something. That's what we do, because we all want the same thing. So that's the beauty of it.
Jackson, in practice this week, what consistency do you want to see from your guys?
Yeah, big emphasis, for the defense specifically is going to be third downs. We got to get off the ball. I mean, we played – if you just go back and look, our first and second downs were good ball. And then we just couldn't get off the field on third downs, which is killer. We're on the field for way too long. We got to get the ball back to these guys. And so that's definitely going to be an emphasis. And just coming out to work every day and giving more. Hajj just said it. We got to give more. We got to do more. And just the attention to detail on every rep. Every rep matters so much. And so, I mean, just a combination, of all of it. But third down is going to be a big emphasis for us.
Maybe for either three of you, is this team unique in that there are so many voices that can take over in the huddle or be a leader, or is that something that you've kind of seen in other teams as well?
I mean, I definitely say it's unique. Hajj does such a good job. I'm blessed to be on a team with him. His leadership has helped my leadership. And same with Ricky. We all lead in different ways. And so it's definitely special to have a group with a bunch of guys that are just so passionate about, going out and doing what we can do and what our, goal is. And so, I'd say it's special.
Thank you.
Steven?
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.